Hello there BookTube, how are you doing? I'm back for another Poetry Thursday video after my absence last week, and I have a really nice short poem by Seamus Heaney to share with you today. It's one of my favourites, and it's almost haiku-like in its brevity and in its simplicity and with its thematic focus, I suppose, on nature. Yeah, so I'll just share it with you. It is really short, and I can almost memorise it, but I don't trust myself to read it without it in front of me, on camera at least. So this is Song by Seamus Heaney. A rowan like a lipsticked girl. Between the by-road and the main road, alder trees, at a wet and dripping distance, stand off among the rushes. There are mudflowers of dialect, and the immortals of perfect pitch, and that moment when the bird sings very close to the music of what happens. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what more I can say about this poem. I think people often say with poetry that what you leave out is just as important as what you put into the poem, which in some ways might be true of this poem. So we have this moment when the bird is singing close to the music of what happens, and so maybe it makes you wonder, well, what is the music of what happens? Why is the bird's music only close? Why is it only maybe a suggestion or a maybe remembrance or something? But I suppose in a way this poem is really just about what it says, about how it says it, and about saying it and then moving on. It's maybe just an acknowledgement rather than a suggestion, perhaps. Yeah, let me know what you think about that. Yeah, I just really love those last lines. You know, when the bird sings very close to the music of what happens. You know, the bird is almost like a poet in a way. That the bird is, you know, is creating something that is not quite what has happened, but is related to it, and suggests it. And I think Seamus Heaney said that he had no idea where those last lines came from. They just kind of fit. I think he said the same thing about the very end of his poem. What is it? A Kite for Michael and Christopher. Yeah, I might read that at some point in the future, but that's got some really great last line, which he has absolutely no idea where it came from, but makes the poem. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that poem. Let me know what you thought. If you've read any other Seamus Heaney, maybe what some of your favourite of his poems are. This poem really reminds me of a time when I was teaching some poetry classes. So my auntie lives out in Tanzania, and she works at an international school, and poetry, you know, was part of their syllabus, and I think she's got a bit tired of doing the same thing over and over again, and it was lockdown. They were doing everything on Zoom anyway, so she asked me if I wanted to take the weekly poetry class, yeah, it was loads of fun. I tried to share, you know, relatively simple but graspable and hopefully quite meaningful poems, and this was one of the ones that I brought up. And I always remember that one of the kids that they said that this poem feels really old, and of course it's not an old poem, and the language isn't, you know, particularly archaic. It's very simple, very direct, but it still feels old and rooted, and yeah, that kind of stayed with me and enriched the poem for me. So every time I read it, I think about that quality of the poem. You know, it's like the trees, like the soil and the rocks of that place. But anyway, they're just some of my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great Poetry Thursday. I look forward to checking out other Poetry Thursday videos, probably today or maybe catching up with them tomorrow as well. But yeah, take care. That's all for now. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.